Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. Hope you're doing great today. It's Friday. Gonna do it my way. You should do it your way, folks. Everybody. Records are being broken. The Fed is opening his big yapper today. Big yapper, big yapping from the Fed and Trump head to head. They're battling publicly with their words, the battle of words, the clash of titans. Two men, one blonde, kind of gray hair, the other gray hair. Who is doing the right thing for the market? And what is going to happen with crypto? Are we about to get a massive bounce for crypto, or are we going to continue to have a sell-off? A lot of records recently, record buys, record sell-offs. How can you have both at the same time? I don't know, but it happened. I do know. I'm going to tell you about it. We got to look at the traditional market today. We got to look at some comments from JP Morgan. Bearish on Bitcoin as digital gold? Well, BlackRock is the opposite. Arthur Hayes speaking out about tariffs, whether or not he believes they're a good thing. I want to discuss what his opinion is and why he has that opinion, and if I agree or disagree. And I want to know if you agree or disagree. Without further ado, welcome back, Jack. I hope you're doing well. Another live stream right before the weekend. Tomorrow, I've got a golf outing. I'm doing a scramble with the boys. Looking forward to that. Might be rainy. That's okay. It's shining. The sun is shining in my heart. Okay. And same thing for the market. You know, market's down, but I have a smile on my face, you know, but I really do. You've got a great dip opportunity. Some very interesting stories to walk through. I want to talk about the significance of this dip that we're having in these markets. It's crazy. It's really crazy, actually. So buckle up, tap the like, subscribe to the channel. Let's get into it, folks. Let's go ahead and share the screen. Okay, so here we go. Bitcoin back up to 83. We're booming today. An absolute blast off for the crypto market. Basically right back at all-time highs. Oh, wait, no, we're not, but that's okay. We're quite down from highs, a whopping, over 20 grand down from all-time highs for Bitcoin. Ethereum struggling below $2,000. XRP is still above $2. Very cool. Let's look at this really quick. Our total market cap is still hanging on. XRP is above $2 because total market cap still hanging on to these March 2024, April 2024 highs. So we're hanging on by a thread, but we're hanging on. Solana's down to 119, huge discount there. A lot of big discounts today. Doge with a decent recovery today. Decent, half decent. Cosmos is up a little bit today. And it's actually up over the last 7 days. One of the best assets during the tariff crash in the world, maybe. It's Cosmos, which never pumped. But there's mostly coins kind of down today. Really over the last 7 days. You got a lot more red specifically, just because of, tariffs, guys. Oh, Pi down to 53 cents. Okay. Pi's coming back down to earth. But put crypto aside for a second. Let's just take a look at this, guys. Okay. And shout out to the chat. I put my ETH cable in. I did put my ETH cable in. Is it good? John. Eric says, Bob Harley's sun is shining. Love it. Market is beautiful right now, says Marty. I love his optimism. Scott says we want a big bounce. Buckeye says, Powell already spoke. I know. I'm going to break it down. What he said. Emmy's hoping for some good news. I hope I can give you good news. I'm going to give you news, that's for sure. Let's start with the bad news. Okay. Bad news is the NASDAQ yesterday had its largest single day drop in the history of it, which is crazy. Whoa, what the heck? What just happened? Hold up. Wait a minute, everybody. All right, wait a minute. That is the craziest thing. What just happened to my chart? Let me fix this. Let's go to the all-time. Let's go to the 1 day. Okay, there we go. So yesterday was the biggest single day drop in the history of the NASDAQ. And the S&P 500 was getting crushed as well. Right now, this thing is down from 20,000 down to 15,000. That's huge, guys. That's a huge dip. And it happened really quick. The S&P 500, this is a very big dip. Almost back down to prices from 2022. Which is crazy. To put it in perspective, if you were buying since... Essentially, if you've been buying consistently since the beginning of 2024, you're back to even on the S&P 500. And you could look at that as a bad thing. You could be like, well, all these investments I had over the last year are down and it's all for naught. I should sell because it's going to go lower. That's the panic person speaking, not the practical person. The practical person says, oh, I was buying it all year and bummer, we're back down to where I started buying it back in, April of 2024. But good news is, wow, I can't believe I get to buy this back at the prices from a year ago. I just took a time machine to buy back at lower prices. Do you guys remember what happened on the pandemic crash? This is what happened. Zip zang to the upside. This is zip. We could get a zang, guys, especially with the Fed pivot. I'm starting to see the more rosy picture for these tariffs. Let's talk a little bit about it. Arthur Hayes loves tariffs, as printed money pain is good for Bitcoin. The dollar's crashing today. Hayes says, some of y'all are running scared, but I love tariffs, says Arthur Hayes, who's a Bitcoin bull. The weakening of the US dollar is good for Bitcoin. The index lost a total of 1,060 points, 1.5% away from triggering the first circuit breaker since March of 2020. Could have had the market halt trading. The dip was so big. That's what they mean by circuit breaker. Talking a little bit about China in here, but let's focus in on this because this is a big thing. He explained this is a signal that the markets expect. Here, let's go back to this actually. We need Fed easing, which is something I've been talking about, noting that the 2-year Treasury yield dumped following the tariff announcement. The 2-year Treasury yield dumping, Arthur Hayes explains, is a signal that markets expect the Federal Reserve to cut rates and potentially restart quantitative easing to offset the negative impact. Fed rate cuts increase liquidity, also making it easier for riskier assets like crypto, more attractive for investors. We need Fed easing. And this puts us on the right direction towards it. So some savvy money out there likes tariffs. You've got the president coming out and saying, the market's gonna boom, baby. Boom, boom, boom. I want you in my room. You guys know that one? Trump is also coming out saying, cut interest rates, Jerome, and stop playing politics. This would be perfect time for the Fed Chairman Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. He's always late, but he could now change his image and quickly. Energy prices are down. Interest rates are down. Inflation down. Even eggs are down 69%. Can you believe it? And jobs are up all within 2 months. A big win for America. Cut interest rates, Jerome, and stop playing politics. This is what Trump's saying. But what is Fed Chair Jerome Powell saying today? Let's go over to Yahoo Finance and take a look at some of the stories, because earlier today we had the Fed speak. Was the Fed bullish? Was the Fed bearish? Well, let's talk a little bit about it. Unfortunately, this is taking a long time to load, but I'm going to tell you, the Fed came out and said a classic Fed thing. He said, I'm not in a hurry to cut rates. He said, these tariffs are going to make inflation worse in the short term. But then he also came out, and I'm going to try to reload this a different way. He also came out and he said that not only could it be worse in the short term, but that inflation could be, here it is, more persistent. 11 minutes ago, this story was written. Powell says tariff inflation could be more persistent as Donald Trump is coming out and saying, stop playing politics. Now, the Fed should not be a political guy. Trump is accusing him of politics. They don't like each other, which you shouldn't really love that a president and the Fed are battling. Has this happened historically? Yeah, this happens historically, unfortunately. But what we've got going on is Powell came out and spoke today. Let's talk about a couple things that he said. So, Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell on Friday appeared to back away from a base case view that inflation from President Trump's new tariffs could be transitory, saying that it is also possible that the effects could be more persistent. He also came out and said that these tariffs implemented were exceeding expectations. In other words, these tariffs were much higher than we expected. And so the Fed came out and he was very bearish today. While the size and duration of those effects from tariffs remain uncertain, the inflation impact has the potential to be longer lasting, he noted. While tariffs are highly likely to generate at least temporary rise in inflation, it's also possible the effects could be more persistent. This is a very bearish Fed. Nvidia's down 7% today. Tesla's down 10% today. Intel's down 9% today. Palantir's down 10% today. The S&P 500 is down bigly today, down 4.77%. The NASDAQ down another 4.8%. Oil's down 6%. Everything is red except for these random stocks, okay? And I guess, is that Gap? Oh, Gap's up today. They're selling more sweaters. They're selling more sweaters because everybody's getting ready for a winter in the market. So everybody's buying a Gap, and Gap's stocks are up. I'm so funny. Oh, okay. The Fed crashed the market more today. Let's actually look to see. Okay, we're actually pumping. So the Fed pumped Bitcoin, I guess. Crazy. You would see this story, and the news is actually quite bearish coming from the Fed. But Bitcoin is coming back up. We had a big spill off yesterday, so we're kind of getting a little bit of a recovery. I will tell you this though, guys. The worse inflation is, the lower the dollar goes, the stronger Bitcoin can be, just like Arthur Hayes said. So all this pain is in the long run going to be good for Bitcoin. And it's good for people trying to accumulate Bitcoin. It's good for you if you're trying to accumulate anything in the traditional market as well. And if we take a peek at what's going on here for liquidations, I'd like to kind of take a peek at the pain from the liquidation sides. We had a lot of pain just a few days ago. A lot of liquidations on the 1st of April. But it's slowing down again. Certainly could ramp back up. We still have yet to see any countermeasures for these tariffs. But the Fed was quite bearish today, and the fact that the market, like Bitcoin's strong right now, actually Bitcoin is actually stronger, showing more strength than the S&P 500 right now. In fact, I think that Bitcoin is like only a little bit worse than the S&P 500 from the highs. And right now, its price action on the daily is holding a lot stronger than the S&P 500 today, specifically. Bitcoin's up 2%. The S&P 500 is down 5%. Really crazy time. With the Fed, you've got some of the biggest banks in the world that are in the Fed's ear. They're on the board of governors or whatever. JP Morgan certainly has a seat at that table, I'm pretty sure. JP Morgan is now coming out and questioning the status of Bitcoin as digital gold. How convenient for them to be bearish when the price of Bitcoin is down. You know that Jamie Dimon doesn't like Bitcoin. He's the CEO of JP Morgan Chase Bank. But JP Morgan has had some crypto analysts, let's say, talking very bullish about crypto as we were running up and at the highs. And now we're at the lows. They're talking bearish, which is probably a bullish thing. When JP Morgan says one thing, kind of get ready for the opposite to happen in short order. That's historically what I've seen, at least. That's historically what I've seen. But no, JP Morgan is saying the rise of Bitcoin appears to be pausing. In light of gold's increasing strength, more by analysts are questioning the position of BTC as a safe haven asset. That's JP Morgan, and BlackRock is calling Bitcoin the new alternative to commodities like gold. More people are going pro Bitcoin as a replacement or addition to something like gold than JP Morgan is leading you to believe. I don't know why they want to be bearish all of a sudden. Probably because they don't want you buying it because they want you to stay poor. And I guess BlackRock wants you to get rich, which does he? I don't know. The reason he's probably pumping Bitcoin realistically is because they've got their own ETF and they want that to continue to go up and perform well. We launched an ETF. We want our product to do well. So I'm going to talk well about Bitcoin. JP Morgan does not have their own ETF for gold or Bitcoin. Or excuse me, maybe they do for gold. I don't know. But for Bitcoin, so you've just got these games going on right now. Ignore these stories, guys. If you believe in Bitcoin, you understand that it is a form of digital gold, and you also understand the concept that as the dollar gets weaker, as the Fed prints money, Bitcoin can get stronger, and it should get stronger, which is why you have people like Larry Fink and Michael Saylor buying all the Bitcoin in the world, and now the U.S. government with a National Strategic Reserve as well, which is very neat. How neat is that? That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. How about those crude oil prices? Oily boys. Yeah. Orange Jones says there's an obscene amount of money about to flow into the markets. Well, what if I told you this, brother man? Retail investors bought $4.7 billion in stocks yesterday, the most in a decade. How unbelievable is that? Pretty unbelievable. Retail investors bought 4.7 billion in stocks yesterday, the most in a decade, but we saw some of the biggest losses on the daily time frame for the Nasdaq. How are two things possible at once? The big money selling and retail is smartening up. We're buying the dip. When you see the S&P 500 come down this far, you know generationally you have an opportunity. Scalsum in the chat says, thanks for the $2 super chat, brother. When the market is quiet, profits can be made. Yes, market is quiet. Profits can be made. By the way, if you guys are you guys trading? Let me know in the comments. I've been trading a lot. Having a lot of fun trading on these volatilities. Made some good money shorting this market lately. And if you want to trade, you can sign up for Blowfin. It's an awesome leverage trading platform. You can sign up using the link down below. You can do up to 100x leverage, but I like that low leverage stuff. I like that lower leverage stuff. 20x is kind of the highest I'd like to go these days. Sometimes I'll degen on a 50x. But generally, I like to stay, under 10x is a safer route to go. And if you sign up for Blowfin using our link, you get up to a $5,000 deposit bonus. So check it out if you haven't done so. But no, retail's buying, and Jim Cramer's giving us another inverse Cramer signal. Jim Cramer says he's disappointed with President Trump's tariffs and his administration screwed it up. I mean, we'll see. One day the markets are down. It's easy to go, market bad, policy bad. But these markets are very emotional. Old me would have made fun of the bald guy that is Jim Cramer, but no more. No more. Jim Cramer. Jim Cramer comes out and says one thing. A lot of times the opposite happens. It doesn't happen overnight. I actually agreed with Jim Cramer recently on something. Basically, he said anybody who's buying the stock market today is basically silly, is what he said, like the day that the tariffs were getting announced. And that was true. And then the market did come down. I totally agreed with him there. Anybody long in that market on that day was making a very risky play. But I think this is a premature thing. Let's see if he screwed it up. I know some people hate it, and some people hate no matter what Trump does, they're going to hate it. But I'm an American. I am an investor. I am a person on this earth, and I understand some of the reasons that he did these tariffs, and I'm interested to see what the results are. There's no doubt there's pain first, no matter whether it's good long-term effects or bad long-term effects. There's no doubt that there's going to be pain first with this, but here we are. It's happening. There's an argument to be made that this is going to be good in the long run. And here's somebody making the argument. Unusual Whales, a larger account on X, 2.1 million followers, said, Justin, Trump posted this video on Truth Social. Trump is purposely crashing the stock market. I didn't verify 100% if Trump did actually post this, but if he did, that's crazy for the president to be like, yeah, I'm purposely crashing the stock market. But they go through a pretty good explanation, saying that Warren Buffett said these are the best moves that he's made in 50 years. These could make you rich. It is forcing to push cash into treasuries, which forces the Fed to slash interest and may lower the rates, give everybody the opportunity to refinance their mortgages. It weaken the dollar. It'll drop mortgage rates. And then you're wondering about, taxes, talking about bringing manufacturing back, talking about bringing grocery prices lower because it's going to force people that are farmers that are producing crops here to sell them in the country instead of exporting them out of the country because of the tariffs, which could lower prices for you at the grocery store. And if he's really crashing the market, then you've got an opportunity to buy the discount. I understand that position. I also understand the position where, but inflation's going to get so bad that, it's going to get bad and we're going to be in hyperinflation. And I don't know how it's going to happen, right? But I like to stay optimistic. I like to be hopeful. I like to look at the positive. And certainly one positive we can all take away, whether you agree with the tariffs or you strongly disagree with the tariffs, and I respect everybody's opinion. This is an incredible discount. To see this much red in the market is an incredible discount. Incredible discount. Same haircut. I do have the same haircut. So very interesting. So very, very interesting. It's where we're at, guys. Let's look at this really quick because it's been a while since we've looked at our super chart. Market cycle. Let's look at our fear and greed index right now. 28. Fear. A lot of fear. Historically, when it's fearful, what do? You buy the dip. Stock to flow model. Quite low. Quite low. Due for a boost up, I think. Probably going to come back above this trend line. Hopefully going to come back above this trend line. That's 300K Bitcoin. I don't know if 100%. I don't know if we're going to get that this year. But I still think we got bull market left, folks. What else do we got going on? Let's look at this. The Bitcoin bubble index. Again, we still haven't had this massive bubble phase of this bull market yet. The Fed needs to cut rates. Then we can have that. That's an altcoin season, guys. You're looking for the big green wave. We have not had our big green wave in this bull market yet. Our Bitcoin rainbow price chart. We're still on track. We're still on track. And then historically, you know, these lower prices for Bitcoin are all within the realm of normalness. Okay, guys? All within the realm of being normal. Marty asked, do I think this is the bottom? I don't think that it's the bottom. Marty, I do not think that it's the bottom yet. I think that, look, clearly we don't really have a very reasonable society right now, okay? There are people vandalizing Teslas, and I understand that some people don't like Elon Musk, okay? And even if you disagree with him, it doesn't make it right to vandalize Teslas, because that's not his car. That's somebody else's property at this point. And there's a lot of people that don't like Elon Musk these days that had previously bought a Tesla. So people that are vandalizing Teslas could easily be vandalizing the cars of somebody that has the same beliefs as them. And why would you ever want to do that? We have an unreasonable society. Why did I just talk about vandalizing Teslas? The reason I'm talking about that is because the bottom might not be in, because what we've got in this unreasonable society is the media wants to take this bad situation and make it as bad as possible. Right? They don't really want it to get better. The media arguably doesn't want it to get better. Sure, they're going to tell you that, you know, they want it better, but realistically, it's always the opposition to whoever leadership is in the country that, you know, is going to want to take advantage of the hard times that are because of this current administration. And so it's going to be hard to just establish a bottom like that, because the media is going to try to spin negative. The Fed just came out and it was quite bearish today. We haven't really seen a negative move on that. I've been looking at targets that are down to even 65K for Bitcoin. Okay. So 71K is our March 2024 highs for Bitcoin. But then you go back to the 65K level, which is where we were at back at the highs of 2021. Okay? We could revisit that, guys. And the Fed coming out and opening his big yapper today could be a catalyst to bring us down to 71 or 65. I don't want to see it. But if I do see it, I'll buy that dip. Scott says Q3 will be epic. Yeah, I could get behind that. I agree. Marty says it'll be back up just like people were selling Bud Light emotionally. Oh, not going to say that. You know, but there are a lot of very emotional people on all sides, left, right, up, down, center, whatever. And it's hard for me to believe that the bottom's in because of us not being reasonable. Hopefully we get more reasonable as a country and just being able to talk to people. You know, we need to be able to talk to each other and not vandalize each other's cars. You're not vandalizing Elon's car. You're vandalizing somebody's car. And, you know, the media is going to vandalize your stocks now. You know, it's just crazy. Society is a large crime challenge in general. It's almost like society's become tolerable with crime. A little bit. What's tough is that there's a lot of thought leaders in business community that support this admin that are now saying this terror strategy makes no sense. Well, you're always going to have that going on. You know, it's always going to be that, though. That's politics. And it's just, in politics is gross. And we're the pawns in the game. You and me. We're the pawns in the game for the people that control the chessboard. Okay? So we need to protect ourselves. You and me need to protect ourselves. Whether, you know, we agree or we don't. We need to protect ourselves as people, for our individual families, as a society, you know. Stay positive. Be open lines of communication. Peter Pettigrew says, hit lows everywhere. Thanks again for that super chat, Scoss. Appreciate you. I've added a position or two, made some profit on up and down options for CDC yesterday. Nice. Make America quantitatively ease again. He's trying, I think. I don't know. Let's see if it succeeds. M2 Money Supply is telling me that by May, we'll be all green. Sure. Well, what I do like right now is that, you know, the Fed interest rate, guys, bing bong, it's the odds of a cut are going up right now after the tariffs, which is nuts, but very good. Very good. Coin Baron says, any luck yet with Crow Crash? I haven't played it yet. I think Black Sea is going to live stream it later today, actually. He's going to have some fun with it and just interact with the community. So he might live stream on X later today, I think. I didn't try it yet, though. But Crow Crash is live. Yeah, the crazy story with that, because it was super successful when it first launched. And then the dev, who, as I understand it, is no longer on the team, like rugged it. And then the community pulled together, and then they got the guy out. They reclaimed it and they made it better, and now they're relaunching. And it's such a successful like first day or first week. So they're live and they got rid of the bad boogeyman, and they're back in action. So I know that Crow Fam had a lot of. I saw that all over my timeline, and I never even got to play it. So now I'm gonna play it. We'll see. Yeah, he's gonna do a little live stream. Is that his first time? Might be his first time. Well, he did live streams with me before, but. I don't feel so epic because I'm born a monkey and snake are not my friend, even though I'm married to one. Oh, dude, I don't know anything about snakes or monkeys or rats. Black Sea knows about some of that stuff. Anyway, we are looking good, guys. And now June. Wait. Oh. I think I misread this the other day. Right now, there is a 0% chance that we're like we are going to get a rate cut by June. Like that's what this, there is no chance, according to this chart, that we're going to get a rate pause. Like this right here is telling me that by June 18th, we will have seen the Fed either on June 18th or in May, see the Fed at least come down 0.25%, if not 0.5% by June, which is actually quite bullish. So, I mean, yeah, May, June, we could start coming back up, guys. And this is definitely an oversold moment. I think it's a great accumulation zone. Daryl Young says, I'll be seriously impressed if Bitcoin holds above 80K moving forward. I would be too. I don't know. We could see it slip a little. Looking at this Fed stuff though, and actually I totally didn't catch that June was like 0% chance of us still being where we're at today in June. We will be lower in the Fed interest rate in June. Yeah, I mean, we could be getting a reversal as long as these odds stay kind of where they're at. So we might hold above 80K. Maybe we do, but we could easily come back down to 71 or even 65. Lion and Crow officially both at a $2.49 million market. That's crazy. That's crazy, dude. That's just nuts. I don't have eyes. I don't even use them. I'm glad you liked that one. That was a random one, right? Any way to short Lion? Where can you put that short in? I don't know where you could. If you could, I would. If you could, I would. Shout out to Mrs. Crypto Kip, by the way. I didn't get to thank her when she came in the room, but she got this. She made this chicken chili. It is awesome. It is so good. Actually, my neighbor growing up's recipe, who then my mom learned, it's so good. And my wife had it, was like, I got to learn this. So she did. She killed it. It's like a 10 out of 10. Delicious chili. My crypto bags have been relatively stable. Bottom in, I don't know. I'm having a hard time. Bottom could be in, but I'm having a hard time believing bottom's in, especially with the Fed coming out to say what he said today. These odds might change tomorrow, guys. These odds might change tomorrow. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Actually, the odds just changed. Darn it. Look at this. The odds just changed. Odds just got worse. Back up to 70%. This was 8% higher at the beginning of the stream. This was 38%. Now it's back down to 29%. Darn it. We got 55 folks watching on YouTube right now. 32 likes. Do me a favor. Tap that like button. Tap that like. All right, guys. Well, happy Friday, everyone. The Fed is bearish. Let's see if these probabilities change. I hope they don't. Looking at 65 as my worst case scenario, looking at 71 as a possible scenario, hoping we hold 80, not having a lot of faith that we hold 80. Very possible that we do. But if you guys want to do some trading on this volatility, you can sign up for Blowfin using the link down below. That is all I have in this one, guys. I'm Crypto Kip. This is Crypto Report. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, DCA HODL. See you in the next one, y'all. More videos later today. Peace, guys.